Hey y'all, and thank you for watching The Farming Pastor's Wife. If you are new to my channel, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification so you don't miss anything. I do lots of cooking on here, I do lots of farm stuff and crafting stuff, a little bit of everything. I just kind of take you along in our crazy life. So before we get started, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I wanted to talk to you guys about a couple of things. First, I want to show you what a lady in my church got me. And it is just absolutely perfect. And it has meant the world to me. And it's been followed up by something. Anyway, I'll go over that in just a minute. But look at this. I hope it's not backwards. I hope it says, you can read what it says. Welcome to Leslie's Kitchen. And it's got a chicken. And we're chicken farmers. So this is absolutely perfect. I'm going to put it on the shelf right above my stove. One, because I can look at it and smile while I'm cooking. And so this couldn't have been any more perfect. And with that being said, the very next day, I got that on Sunday. She gave it to me Sunday. The very next day, I received a text from somebody asking me to consider writing a cookbook and sharing my recipes. And so I'm like, oh goodness. So here's my question to you guys. And I know nothing about writing a book or anything. And my niece has actually written a book. And I've talked to her because we have so many stories of just our life being in ministry and funny things that have happened and sad things that have happened and just tons of stories. Growing up in a parsonage for my kids, I have kids' stories that would just... They're just hilarious. And so I talked to her about writing a book about that, but I've never gotten with her. We've just, our schedule, my schedule is crazy. And so we've never been able to sit down with her and get her advice on how to get started writing a book. But now somebody's asked for a cookbook. So my question out there is, a lot of my recipes are family recipes or my recipes. A lot of my recipes that I cook are recipes that have been around for years that I've just doctored up and made them just whatever we do. Some of the recipes I make are out of other cookbooks. Some, not what I'm saying is not all of my recipes are original. So my question is, do you guys know if I put a page at the front that a disclaimer saying I am not necessarily the author of all these recipes, and even some recipes I'm sure that I have come up with, somebody else has already come up with them too, because I just use basic stuff. It's not anything hard that I do. So, and do you think there is an interest for my cookbook? And most of my viewers know me. So you can send me a message, or you can go to the Farming Pastor's Wife Facebook page and send me a private message that way. And let me know your thoughts on this, because it's really got me thinking about writing a cookbook. And I've kind of already written like the front page, and within the cookbook I wanted to share pictures. I wanted to share stories that revolved around either that recipe or stories that revolved around that time of year that I made that recipe. Just cute little, not long stories, but little paragraph stories. So that's my thought. So that's all I want to talk to you about as far as cooking today. I did make, I'm taking a lady in our church a meal tomorrow, and I made her the only pumpkin dessert I make. I made her one, and then tomorrow I'll be finishing up her meal. I'm going to roast her a chicken and so forth. And Bryant and I are having something tonight we have never had. I have never fixed. So we'll see. But we're going to have a spaghetti squash. Never had a spaghetti squash, nor have I ever fixed a spaghetti squash. So I'll let you know how that turns out. But now the other thing I wanted to talk to you about, which is the most important thing, is I was on this website. I was actually looking at planners, and I like this planner, but I didn't get it. It was a little too expensive. And but they gave me a downloadable goal pamphlet or whatever. And it's not spiritual, it's not Christian, but it's about goal setting, like the goals for your life, the goals for your day, how to achieve your goals. And, I didn't download it. I mean, they sent it to me, and I didn't necessarily download it, but I did look through it. And like every so often, many pages, they would have this one page that had this big quote on it from someone famous or smart or whatever. But this one statement jumped out at me, and it was so profound to me. And I showed it to my husband. I showed it to Brian. He goes, I don't get it. I don't get it. And I said, how do you not get this? It is so profound. So I'm going to read it to you, and then I'm going to share with you my thoughts on why it's profound, or kind of maybe explain what it means. The statement is, things which matter most must never be at the mercy of things which matter least. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. I don't know who that is. It must be somebody famous. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. I'm going to have to look that person up. I'm probably totally blowing y'all's mind because it's probably somebody that everybody knows of and I just don't. But anyway, things which matter most must never be at the mercy of things which matter least. So let me give you an example. Moms, your kids matter the most to you more than anything in this world. But how many times are we washing dishes, or are we cooking supper, or are we dusting and sweeping and mopping, and there's a little hand tugging on our skirt or our shirt tail saying, Mommy, come play with me. Mommy, come play with me. And we're like, no. I got to finish the dishes. I got to finish cooking supper. I got to finish this. Well, your child matters most. And she was just at the mercy of the dishes. That child was just at the mercy of cooking supper. Now, dishes and supper and all that's important. But between your child and those things, your child matters most. And wives, this is a big one for me. How many times does your husband say, oh, come ride with me, and this is my husband, let's go check the cows together. Ride with me to go check the cows. And I'm like, no, I got to finish the supper dishes. I'm tired. I want to put my feet up. Okay, so what matters most? Your husband and your relationship with your husband, or getting the dishes done that could possibly wait till morning? So my husband was at the mercy of my dishes. Something that's breakable. Something that can be washed tomorrow. It was just so profound to me. And why it became profound to me was, spiritually speaking, I have struggled with, and I know I am not the only one. I know I'm not. So you can, after I tell you what I struggle with, y'all can put your tongues back in your mouth, because I know I'm not the only one. I struggle with putting my walk with the Lord first and foremost in my day. And I'm not talking about necessarily first thing, although that would be great. I'm talking about first. Even when I was coming in here, I just got finished doing my Bible study. And it is 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Why is it this late? Not because I set this time aside during the day, but the reasons it's late. And it's not because I had appointments that I had to be at and I had to do. It's not even that. It's because I kept thinking of things that needed to be done. The things that mattered least took priority. Like, even when I was coming in here to sit down and thinking about this, thinking about that quote, I had that in my mind and I was coming in here to do it, and I happened to remember I hadn't made tea yet. So I went in the kitchen and made tea. And I mean, it's like, even when it's on my mind to do better and to put the Lord first, I still messed up. And now, let me just say, when you do your Bible study or your devotions or your time prayer, and I'm not even saying in the Word, I'm talking about prayer, your time, your precious, precious time with the Lord. That should not be done out of obligation as far as to check off your to-do list to make you feel better. I've sat down, because if you're doing it for that reason, you're going to sit down, you're going to read a bunch of words, and you're going to say a bunch of things to the Lord, but it's not going to change who you are. Every time I spend time with the Lord, I want to be changed a little bit, a lot. I want to be changed more like Him. I want Him to do a work in me, and me just sitting down and reading my 365 days through the Bible just so I can check it off is not doing that. That's so be sure you're understanding me, that when I'm saying what matters most, I'm not saying, because if that's the only reason you're reading the Bible is to give yourself a pat on the back and a to-do list, then maybe you better go do the dishes. I'm just kidding. Because God can still work even when our hearts are not right. He can convict us. So I'm being facetious a little bit there, but I want so much for the thing that matters most to me, or should matter most to me, to be my priority. And it doesn't have to be first thing of a morning. I mean, to me, I think it should be, because then it starts your day off right. It is showing Him He is number one. But I live in the real world. I know that we get up with crying children. I know we get up with husbands that have a to-do list for us a mile long. I know these things. But when you have a moment to sit down and you just start thinking of things that need to be done, and those things are taking precedence over the Lord, then maybe you're like me and need to step back and think about this statement, that things which matter most must never be at the mercy of things which matter least. That tea that I just made, that pot of tea, first of all, it could have boiled over and ruined everything on my stove. That tea can wait. We can drink water. We can drink Pepsi. Why did my mind navigate to those things? And even when I sat down and began to read, I had to keep my mind focused on the Lord. I had to keep my mind geared towards Him, because my mind wanted to wander off into the grocery list, the things I need to get done, the laundry that I need to go start, the laundry that I need to go fold. My mind went to those things. a lot of times, and y'all know how much I love to cook. Y'all know, and this was in my Sunday school lesson. I mean, this wasn't per se, but the Lord spoke it to my heart. We read in Matthew where it says, "Do not worry about what you should eat or what you should drink, or your clothes. The Lord feeds the birds, and we're of more value than them." And so my mind went to, why is my mind always on food? And I just talked to y'all about a recipe book. I know that's kind of funny and an oxymoron. But so many times my mind is, what can I cook? What can I video? What can I show somebody how to make? Because I love doing that. That's a passion of mine, and it's not wrong, because God gave us these things to help others, to be good at. He gave us all something to be good at. But anyway, I want my mind to be steadfast on Him. I want Him to matter most, and I want everything else to be at the mercy of Him. I don't want my Lord taking second place to a pot of tea or to a tub of laundry. Now, I know these things have to get done. I know that. But, so anyway, that's my spiel today. I just came across that. And I don't know how my husband does not understand what that means. That was just so profound to me. That statement was so profound. But I love the Lord. And I want my life to show that I love the Lord. And my life does. I mean, I share the Lord. I'm generous. I'm good to people. I love the Lord. I spend time with Him. I talk to Him. But I don't want to read His Word just to check off an obligatory list. I don't want it to be just an obligation. I want it to be a desire. And I do desire it, but sometimes other things I desire more. And that's sad. But I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only pastor's wife who deals with this struggle. I know there are pastors. There are pastors who get so caught up in ministry and doing ministry that they even neglect this. They neglect the Lord and their personal walk with Him. It happens. We get so caught up even in doing good and wonderful things that we can sometimes neglect the Lord and our walk with Him. And I want to grow in Him. And I want to know Him more. So, anyway, there you have it. That's my spiel today. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the cookbook. Let me know what you think about this profound statement I come across. I'm going to quote it one more time to you. Things that matter most must never be at the mercy of things which matter least. So if you're thinking about this in the form of your family, moms, put down the dust rag, put down the broom. Go spend time with that sweet little baby. Go spend time with that sweet little child, that sweet little boy with the big brown or blue eyes or green eyes, or the little red-headed boy. You just go hold them, play outside with them, because they matter more than the dishes or the floor that needs to be mopped or the laundry that needs to be folded. Wives, go spend time with your husbands. If they're asking you to go somewhere with them, you go. You go. You get in that vehicle. You get on that. Now, I can't ride my husband's four-wheeler. He has to let me drive because it hurts my rear end. My four-wheeler's broke, but his hurts my hiney. And so I have to drive if we take his four-wheeler. So there are exceptions to this rule. But you go spend time with your husband. Husbands, if your wives are looking at you and saying, I need your attention, I need you to spend some time with me. Put down the sports channel. Put down the Xbox, or put down your phone, your email. Put all that stuff away, because in the end, what matters most is your wife. And I know that when I was sick and almost died, that had I died, my husband wouldn't have regretted the time he spent with me. It would have been the times that he didn't spend with me that would always be a constant source of regret. And so if you're like me and you struggle with, and like I'm saying, I'm not saying you're sitting down and having a study. I'm just saying sitting down and talking to the Lord, spending time with Him, and learning from Him, and hearing from Him. If you struggle with sitting down and doing that, and thinking of everything else that needs to be done, remember that saying, your God that died on a cross for you is much more important than a tub of laundry or a pot of tea or whatever the case may be. So I'm rambling now because I'm repeating myself. But anyway, let me know what you think about the cookbook. Let me know what you think about this motto. Remember the Farming Pastor's Wife Facebook page. Go like it. I'm eventually going to start doing some live videos on there. I've done some live videos on my personal page, and so shortly I'll be moving my live videos to the Farming Pastor's Wife. So you need to go like that so you can get some of those videos. Y'all have a great day. I'll see you later.